Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whatever it is for you. Today we're going to be talking about the greaser tool, the bearing greaser tool that's on Amazon. It's a pretty popular tool for greasing your bearings on your Maverick or X3 or Razor or whatever you have. They make, of course, different size ones for whatever machine you have. Anyway, we start off by removing the wheel, obviously. That's kind of first and foremost. Then you're going to take this cotter pin out. And if you don't know anything about this, like if you've never done one of these before, you probably shouldn't attempt it on a $30,000 machine. But that goes without saying. If you know any kind of basic mechanics, then you can, I'm sure, tackle this no problem. There's two bolts on the back of the caliper. Go ahead and remove that, and then pull the caliper up and just kind of tuck it in the arm there, and then, or if you want to suspend it with a strap or bungee cord or something like that, you can do that too. And then you're going to be taking off the axle nut, and I stuck a pry bar in between the hub there, so that in case it did spin, which it started to, it would actually stop. Anyway, remove the nut, take off the washer, and then sometimes you might have to actually tap a little bit, like I'm doing with a rubber mallet on the hub, just to kind of break it loose, especially if it's been on there for a long time. And then it should come off, pretty easily. Just be careful. And then obviously don't set it on the rotor side if you're going to set it on the ground. I just set it on the stud side. Good time to start inspecting the splines on the axle. Grab your grease tool and your new grease adapter tool. And what I'm doing right now is kind of just pre-greasing it, just so it slides in a little easier, which may or may not be necessary, but that's just how I am. Because the suspension is dropped, you may have to wiggle the axle a little bit because of the angle to get the adapter on. And once you get it on and over the splines, then you're simply just going to grab your grease tool, pop it on, give it 14, 15 pumps. I mean, obviously every scenario is going to be different, especially if you grease them often. These only really come with like the assembly grease from the factory, so there wasn't much in there to begin with. I think I did about 14 or 15 pumps, and you'll start to hear it and see it kind of seep out right where it inserts, and you'll see where I point to here in a second. After that happens, you'll go ahead and remove your tool and pretty much reverse the whole process of putting everything back on. From there, you'll go ahead and put your hub back on, and before you do that, make sure you either pre-grease your splines or put some anti-seize or something like that on there. Don't ever put thread locker on your splines. Somebody asked that before, and that's completely ridiculous. And also, something to be wary of is all the grease you've been working with. Be sure to clean your rotors off with brake cleaner, just to make sure that you don't have any grease residue left on there, because that will not work good with your brakes, obviously. From here, you'll put your hub back on, make sure you line your splines up, and you might have to give it a little love tap with your rubber mallet, but again, make sure those splines are lined up before you do that. And once you get that on, you'll go ahead and put your washer back on, and then your axle nut, and line up the little holes, the little notches on the nut itself, for the cotter pin, and reverse process. Torque everything to specs, and put a thread locker on your bolts for your calipers and then whatnot, not your splines, and you should be good to go. Any questions, leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe for any future videos.